The Duggar family is facing another shocking twist. Johannah Duggar, one of the younger daughters, has reportedly entered into a secret wedding, and even more surprising, news of a possible pregnancy has surfaced. What makes this revelation explosive isn't just Johannah's age or the secrecy surrounding the event, but the way it has reportedly left family patriarch Jim Bob Duggar devastated. For years, the Duggars have built their public image around faith, purity, and tradition, but scandals and hidden truths have repeatedly unraveled that picture. From controversial headlines about Josh Duggar to shocking courtships and rule-breaking romances, secrecy has become a recurring theme in the Duggar legacy. Now, Johannah's sudden leap into marriage and motherhood may be the most dramatic chapter yet. In this video, we'll break down everything we know about Johannah's secret wedding, the whispers of pregnancy, and Jim Bob's reaction. We'll explore how this bombshell is shaking the Duggar household, what it means for the family's already fragile public reputation, and whether this could mark a turning point for Johannah and the next generation of Duggars. Stay tuned as we uncover the details, the drama, and the deepening cracks within one of reality TV's most famous families. From the very beginning, the whispers about Johannah Duggar's secret wedding didn't come from the family itself, but from the fans. Long before any official acknowledgement, Duggar watchers noticed small but telling details: Johannah's absence from recent family photos, cryptic social media posts from siblings, and most telling of all, what appeared to be leaked snapshots circulating in private online groups. A blurry image of Johannah in what looked like a wedding dress was enough to ignite a firestorm of speculation. Within days, Duggar forums and fan pages were buzzing with theories, each one pointing toward the possibility that the youngest Duggar daughter had taken a life-changing step in complete secrecy. So why would the Duggars, a family whose every milestone has traditionally been broadcast on national television, suddenly choose secrecy? For many, the answer lies with Jim Bob Duggar. As the family's longtime patriarch and decision-maker, Jim Bob has always been heavily invested in shaping the Duggar image. A secret wedding, conducted outside the usual Duggar spectacle of hundreds of guests, strict courtship rules, and cameras rolling, would have been a major departure. Some speculate that Jim Bob insisted on keeping it hidden to preserve control, ensuring that only the version of events he approved would eventually reach the public. Others believe it reflects a larger shift. Perhaps Johannah herself wanted privacy, something rare in a family that has grown up in the spotlight. When it came to the ceremony itself, accounts paint a picture very different from the massive Duggar productions of the past. Whereas Jill, Jessa, and Johannah celebrated their weddings with packed church venues and extensive guest lists, Johannah's alleged wedding was far more intimate. The guest list, according to online whispers, was limited to only close family members and a handful of trusted friends. This smaller circle immediately raised eyebrows: who was invited and, more importantly, who was left out. Reports suggest that several siblings may have been absent, either due to personal conflicts, distance, or possible disagreements with how the wedding was handled. The secrecy has only fueled speculation about divisions within the Duggar household. When comparing this hush-hush event to past Duggar weddings, the contrast couldn't be sharper. Duggar weddings have traditionally been public spectacles: broadcast episodes, glossy magazine spreads, and carefully staged photo shoots. For years, they served not just as family celebrations, but as ratings boosters for TLC. In this case, however, there were no official announcements, no glossy photos, and no carefully planned press coverage. The absence of those familiar elements suggests that the Duggars may be navigating uncharted territory, balancing their strict traditions with the growing desire of younger family members to lead more private lives. The next revelation shook the Duggar fanbase even more than the secret wedding itself. Reports began circulating that Johannah is expecting her first child. The whispers started only weeks after the marriage news leaked, and while nothing has been officially confirmed by the Duggar family, multiple sources suggest the timing is no coincidence. For many longtime followers, this felt like history repeating itself. Yet another Duggar daughter stepping into adulthood quickly, with marriage and motherhood following one right after the other. In most Duggar families, pregnancy news is met with a wave of celebration. From TLC specials to glossy magazine covers, The births of Duggar grandchildren have always been treated as a kind of royal announcement, with Jim Bob and Michelle often positioned as the proud overseers of their ever-expanding family tree. Babies have long been used as proof of the family's values, the idea that children are blessings, and the more blessings you have, the more faithful and obedient you are. But this time things feel different. Johannah's pregnancy, if true, isn't being presented in the same polished, celebratory manner fans have come to expect. Instead, it's unfolding in whispers and quiet speculation. There's a sense of secrecy and even unease, as if the family is unsure how to manage the narrative. And at the center of this tension is Jim Bob himself. Reports suggest that Jim Bob is not only disappointed, but outright angry about how things have played out. To him, every marriage, every pregnancy, every milestone has always been about image, about carefully controlling how the family is seen by the world. But Johannah's choices and the secrecy surrounding them appear to have slipped completely outside of his control. For a man who has built his entire identity on being the patriarch and gatekeeper of his family, this represents more than just a personal upset. It is a symbolic loss of power. When we look back at past Duggar pregnancy announcements, the contrast becomes striking. Think about Jill, Jessa, Jinger, or Joy. Each of their pregnancies was documented, photographed, and marketed in some way. Fans were invited into the story, whether through TLC specials, exclusive magazine deals, or carefully curated social media posts. Each child was not just a baby, but a piece of the Duggar brand. But Johannah's situation defies that formula. Instead of a polished announcement, the news comes as a leak. Instead of proud parents making statements, there's silence. And instead of the family uniting around her, the reports describe a father furious that his daughter has stepped out of line, tarnishing the image he has worked for decades to construct. For Johannah, the emotional weight of this moment cannot be understated. To carry her first child should be a time of joy, but it appears to be overshadowed by family politics and a father's disapproval. Unlike her older sisters, she isn't basking in Jim Bob's public approval or enjoying the safety net of a family machine that thrives on positive publicity. Instead, she's carving her own path, with all the risks and challenges that come with it. And for fans watching from the outside, this isn't just another Duggar baby story. It's a turning point. It represents the younger generation breaking away, quietly but firmly, from the grip of Jim Bob's authority. The ripple effects of Johannah's secret wedding and pregnancy news are being felt across the Duggar family, sparking a mixture of silence, subtle support, and speculation. Some siblings, particularly those who've already distanced themselves from Jim Bob and Michelle's strict control, are quietly applauding Johannah's independence. Jill, Jinger, and Johannah, who've each taken steps to carve out their own lives away from the rigid family structure, may see Johannah's choices as both courageous and necessary. Yet, many of the siblings still closely tied to Jim Bob remain notably quiet, either out of loyalty to their father or fear of sparking conflict. Online, the Duggar fan base is in turmoil. Some are shocked and saddened, feeling that Johannah has betrayed the family's values by keeping her wedding hidden and stepping into motherhood so quickly. Others, however, are praising her for breaking free from the Duggar cycle of control, secrecy, and media manipulation. The mixed reactions highlight just how divided even longtime followers of the family have become. Critics are calling out Jim Bob for once again prioritizing image over his children's happiness, while supporters argue this is just another chapter in the life of a large and complex family. This development also raises questions about the Duggar family's public brand. Since TLC canceled Counting On after Josh Duggar's conviction, the family has struggled to maintain its once polished image. Johannah's decision to take control of her life, outside of her father's approval, may further damage the Duggar reputation among conservative fans, while at the same time earning her admiration from those who see her as breaking generational chains. The bigger question is whether Johannah will follow in the footsteps of Jill and Jinger, publicly distancing herself from the Duggar empire and opening up about life beyond the compound. For many, this moment feels like a turning point not just for Johannah, but for the future of the family as a whole. At its core, This story reveals the tension between the Duggar family's strict culture of secrecy and the generational shift happening within its younger members. While Jim Bob may still try to maintain control, the cracks are becoming harder to ignore. Johannah's choices may inspire her younger siblings to reconsider their own futures, potentially reshaping the Duggar legacy for years to come. As we close, Johannah Duggar's secret wedding and pregnancy reveal have shaken the Duggar world like never before. What was once a tightly managed family image has now been fractured, leaving fans stunned at the secrecy and the boldness of Johannah's choices. Jim Bob's reported devastation speaks volumes, not just about this one event, but about a larger shift within the Duggar family. Control is slipping, traditions are bending, and the next generation seems ready to write its own story, whether or not the patriarch approves. The real question is Johannah truly breaking free from the Duggar legacy, carving out a new life on her own terms? Or is she simply repeating the same patterns in secret, away from the spotlight? Fans will be watching closely to see how this chapter unfolds. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.